Hey there, Phoenixes. Welcome to another episode of Free Create Fridays. I am your host, Daniela Langford, founder and head coach at ReDesignYourLifeForever.com. This week, we are getting more and more into spring. I don't know if you have noticed, but boy, it is getting hot. Man, a month ago, we could not get the snow to go away, and now we are sweating balls out here. Pardon my language, but I mean, that's what's happening. So we are out here in the garden this week, working on some stuff, as you all probably are as well. Look at my radishes and my potatoes. They're going nuts. So excited. But man, it's been getting hot. Isn't that crazy how hot it's just gotten all of a sudden? So this week I have come up with a project that will help you beat the heat. And not only will it help you beat the heat, but considering what day it is, we are almost to Mother's Day. And if you have forgotten your Mother's Day gift, this is a perfect project for you that you can use scraps of fabric at home and water beads that are very easy to find in any floral section, and make a wonderful little present for your mother, your grandmother, any of the mothers in your life, for you. In fact, for any of the men in your life as well. This would be a wonderful gift also for Father's Day, which I know is also just around the corner. What we are making this week is fabulous. So simple. Wonderful neck coolers. All you have to do is pop these in the water before you are ready to go out for your gardening for the day. Pop them in the water overnight. If you like to go fishing, if you like to go camping, hiking, biking, climbing, anything outside, gardening, even if you are just mowing the lawn, if you're going out fishing, anything that has to do with outside and you are out here in the heat of the summer, this is going to be a lifesaver. You are going to love these, and the mothers in your life will love them too. So this is as simple as it is. Look how cute. It is basically a water ascot. Oh yes, we are styling now, ladies. Absolutely styling. So come with me, join with me. We are going to get started with some stretches out here in the garden for once. I figured we'd do some stretching out here, a little garden yoga, and then we were going to head inside and I will show you all about how to make these wonderful neck coolers. Oh my God, I can feel it already. Oh, that's so nice. And I will show you how to make these the quick and easy way so that you can get a last minute gift in for Mother's Day or just something for yourself. So come on in, let's get ready to do some stretches, and then we will head inside. All right, Phoenixes, I've taken off my hat because we're going to be bending down, and in this case, it's just going to come flopping off. So I just went ahead and took it off, and I've moved my mic, probably just bonked you there, so that it doesn't get all wet. But we are going to be working on, let's see how far away I can get. We're going to be working on some simple stretches that hopefully will help you to get in and out of your garden a little bit easier. So we're going to, of course, start with our forward fold. I don't know if you can see, but down here I have a bed that you will need to reach. Ta-da! Just reach for those toes. Keep those knees nice and straight. You don't want to lock them forward, but you want to keep them as straight as you can. Get a nice stretch here. Roll it up. And reach back. Lovely, lovely. Here, I'm actually going to come move the camera so you can see a little better. There we go. Because we are going to be doing a little bit of squats. Now, I know that squats can be difficult for some people. Now, since I've got this raised bed here, you can actually see and just do a little bit of a lunge. And this will help train your quads and your knees as well. So let's pretend like we're going to get into the garden. So feet shoulder width apart, and you're going to stick your butt out like you're going to sit in a chair. And you just want to rest there, and you can actually go all the way to the ground if you can. Maybe you still see me. There we are. Now you can also practice posture here because you can stretch your back forward and reach for the ground. Or you can get a nice straight up and down. Now if you have trouble getting up from this position, which I totally understand, what you can do is bend over, put your hands on the ground, and lift your butt up into the air. And then we're just gonna roll our back up. And that's as simple as it is. So we're gonna do this again one more time. Shoulder width apart. I'm gonna pretend like we're sitting down, like we're gonna sit our butt onto the, onto the flower bed behind us. And just crouch on down. Now this is great for stretching out your knees. This is great for stretching out your ankles. This is great for your ankles. This is great for getting that strength in your ankles, that balancing strength. That's really good. This is really good for that. Now you don't want to bounce around too much. I am kind of, because, well, I'm crazy. But just want to stand here and stretch. You can stretch your ankles. Kind of move yourself around, and again, you can give yourself a nice hug. And then if you can't bolt straight up, which of course if you can, more than welcome, you can always put your hands on the ground, booty in the air. You can even give your legs a little shake back and forth, loosen those up, and then a nice rounded roll up. We can also do a little bit of arm stretching here, because we do use our arms and our shoulders a lot in gardening. And if you haven't taken the chance to stretch with me ever, this is always a great time. Change can happen at any time, so any time is always a great time to start. This is also a great one too. Hands behind the back. Just do a nice forward fold here. Really opens up the chest. And you get your nice stretch with your nice flat back there. And bring it on back. Back bend again. Woo! All right, so we are all ready. We are all stretched out and ready to go as always. So let's go grab all of our drink and all of our materials and head inside, and I'm gonna show you how to make these fabulous neck coolers, because this has been a lifesaver just the few minutes that I've been out here, and I know you're gonna love them. So let's head inside. Here's everything that you will need to finish this project. All you need is some cotton fabric. I would recommend cotton because polyester does not breathe and it will not quite function the exact same way. It's very easy to tell when you're buying fabric whether or not it's got cotton in it. You will be able to look at the board that the fabric comes in and see what percentage of cotton, rayon, polyester, all of that kind of stuff will be on a tag on the side. And if you are buying remnants, they usually also label it. You can tell the feel of cotton if you get used to it. So definitely recommend cotton. One of my favorite things about this project also is just that you can use any kind of themed fabric. Here, as you can see, we've got some lovely geisha. Found some beautiful magnolias. This is actually fabric from when I did them years ago as gifts. Here you can see, here's one that's actually a heat pad. Very similar in make, and when the season comes back along, I will definitely be showing you how to make these in the fall. And again, just so many patterns that you could pick. I also really love making these for all of our gentlemen in our lives, whether they be your son, your husband, if they love to go fishing, hunting, anyone who loves to go camping. Again, out any sort of outdoor activities, even just the kids running around in the backyard. This is a great project to make with them, to have fun with them, and to give to them. You are also going to need pins, of course, a pair of scissors, ruler, something to mark with. Really quick, coming back to the fabric, you want to make sure if you're using a remnant of something that you have at home, or if you're buying something, that it's at least 28 to 36 inches long, or else it won't go all the way around your neck and be able to tie very comfortably. It'll be very tight and it won't work as well. And last but certainly not least, you are going to need your water beads. Now, here are a few that I have left over from previous projects. I love these. They swell up really big when you put them in the water. And I actually have, here we are. So you can see how much bigger they actually get when you put them in water. So this is what they will look like inside of our neck coolers. I also I like to use a bit of a water bottle, and I cut the top of it off here, and I use that as a funnel to help fill our neck coolers when it's time to do that. And then also when you're done, because you'll probably have quite a bit of these left, unless of course you're making quite a few, which is great, you will want a place to store them. So I really like to just be able to stick them in here in this plastic bottle, put the cap back down, and it's an easy way to store them when you're done in between uses or in between what you're doing with them. So that way they don't run off. As you can see, sometimes they like to get away. So that is all you will need to get started on this project. And here we go. All right, first things first is you want to pick out your fabric. Now again, just would like to suggest that you pick a cotton, something that is at least as close to 100% cotton as you can get, because it will breathe, it will release the water, it will do everything that it's supposed to do. Polyester really does not breathe. It really doesn't absorb or wick or do anything in this case. So I'm just going to use actually the full length of the fabric here. As you can see, they are the selvage edges, the two raw edges there. And I'm just going to open this up to its full 36 inches. This will make it nice and quick and easy. And that way you won't ever have to worry about whether you've made it long enough, because that is definitely a concern. So 36 inches. Now when you're deciding whether or not you would like to fold over or not, that will come into play as to how wide you need to cut your strips. If you're going to simply fold it over here and only stitch one edge down the side, make things a little bit easier for yourself, you can do that, and then you will only need 2.5 inches, possibly 3. But if you are indeed going to be cutting strips, individual strips, you will want a little bit more seam allowance than that. So all we're going to do here is fold this over, press it a little bit with our hands. Actually, I think that is the side that is not so even. Oh, they're both not so even. That's okay. This is a great way to use up scrap fabric, actually, that you have these little chunks and pieces left at the end of a roll. So if you can see that, but right there, it is 1, 2.5. And what's going to happen here is that it's going to be 2 inches wide, and then we are going to have a 1/2 inch here on either side for our seam allowance. Now, if you were to cut this strip off without using the fold and want to sew another strip onto it, you would probably want to make it the 3 inches wide or a little bit wider, so that you would have that 1/2 inch of seam allowance on both sides, so that you still retain that full width of your 2 inches. Because you don't want it much thinner than that, because you do want it to be able to blow up and hold quite a bit of cool water for you to cool you off. So that is a little trick about that. There is our 2.5. Now you can go along and just go 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, and use one of your marking tools here. You can just go down and then cut it off. And if you are making multiples of this is a great way to do it, because then all you have to do is cut this off and then fold that edge over again, measure, cut it off, and if you have extra, just keep going until you run out. Just like that, as simple as it is. We're going to fold it over, stitch the ends here so we can make a nice little pocket. And then, in fact, if you use the full length of the fabric, what's really great is you will end up with this selvage edge. Now, if you're not familiar with the selvage edge, it is where they weave the ends of the fabric together, and it is often some of the strongest point in the fabric itself. So what's great about that is that that will never unravel. Never, 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 never. Well, at least it shouldn't. So if you use this as your ends for where you tie it off for your neck, you will never have to worry about it unraveling like you would having a cut edge like this. So we're going to move on. Again, if you would like to just keep it on, you can fold this over again and measure it out and cut. Fold it over again, measure it out and cut, and make as many of these as you want. Okay, now all we're gonna do is we're gonna take our fabric strip here and we're gonna fold it right sides together. Now right sides generally, and especially in cottons, which is great, is that there's a very pretty side and a way duller side. So this would be considered the wrong side. Don't ask me why they call it that, I don't know. And this is the right side. So when you're when you're sewing things, generally you want to put right sides together so that when you sew it, you have your stitch here, and then you flip everything inside out so that your stitch is hidden and your seam allowance is hidden and nothing comes undone. And you end up with the pretty side on the outside. So all we're gonna do here, as you can see, here we go, is we're just going to be pinning all our way down to create a tube. We're just gonna sew it into a tube at first, and then we're gonna come back and measure how much neck space we would like to have here. So you can use your own neck as a reference and get a tape measure or a piece of string and put it up against the ruler, or even this, however you would like to do it, and measure how wide you would like that pocket. You're gonna sew down one side so that you end up with a flappy side, a pocket opening here, and then what we're going to do is funnel all of our beads down inside the tube. And when we've funneled enough beads that we think that it will blow up sufficiently, we will sew off the other side, and you will end with a nice pocket with 2 ties ready and willing to be thrown into the water and cool you off. So let's head to the machine and sew it all up. Here we all are. It's all sewn together, so we have a nice tube here all the way down. Now you can take this and fold it in half. The easiest way to do it, if you don't want to use your ruler and get all super technical with it, is to fold it in half. Put this at the base of your neck, wrap this around, and find where you have a comfortable length to be able to tie. Now in my case, I found that it's about 10 inches in, which is about this long here, 10 inches in. So I would flip this right side out and sew myself a line right across 10 inches, because that gives me approximately 24 to wrap around my neck. Because just to remind you, they're going to be filled with these big old water beads. So it is going to take up a little bit more room to go around the neck than, normally would, say, for like a men's tie or something. You don't have that much extra bulk going around the neck. So with these inside, it would definitely make that a larger number. So to be on the safe side, give yourself a little extra room here in the center. So we're going to flip this inside out. You can pull it out the old-fashioned way. There are also a myriad of tools to help you do this. You can try the ye old pencil trick, which is where you take the end, flip to the inside. So, ta-da! And as I said before, these edges right here, this will never, ever fray, unless of course you cut it. So there's a great place to have the ends of your ties here on the selvage. And it's a great place to be able to push them from the inside out without worrying as much about tearing through the fabric itself, because you don't want to use anything sharp that will actually puncture a hole, because then that will ruin the whole point of having something inside of a tube. All right, so now I'm going to go sew my line so that we can start filling this up. Here we have the cross strap there. Try to do it in a little bit different colored thread as well, just so you can see it a little better. Very simple. And I've also gone ahead and marked where we want it to end. I did a little bit of a test and put as many of these in there as I could, just to see how many would fit in there and what it would look like, which of course you are welcome to do, is to pre-blow these up and then use the same exact technique of our funnel idea here. if you're really not sure, you can always pre-blow them up in a bowl of water, jar like this. And then all you would have to do is just pour them in until it filled the whole thing up to where you wanted it. So that would make it a little difficult to stick under the sewing machine, but other than that, that would probably work as well. So that's why it's a little wet, because I was testing that out myself. Otherwise, I think that you would be well served by doing about a tablespoon or about 1.5, maybe 2 maximum. It just depends on whether you have, these small ones here are obviously going to blow up much smaller than these ones that are starting out bigger. So it really just depends on which ones you can find, which these can be found, I forgot to mention in supplies, I can't believe it. These can be found pretty much anywhere you can find floral supplies, at your craft stores, anything like that. You can also order them online through Amazon, probably even more in bulk, especially if you're planning to make a lot of these for presents, anything like that. Or as they're actually a great cheapy giveaway, especially if you have all this extra fabric lying around the house and all you really need to buy is this. You could definitely probably find a wholesale way to buy these so you can make a bunch of these for everyone. So in this case, since we are not going to see them, I'm not going to use the blue ones. And I'm going to do, actually, because I'm a crazy person, a mix of the big ones and the small ones. Now remember, these little balls are going to get about that big. So it's very much a trick of the eye that you're going to feel like you're not putting anything in here, I promise. It's not going to feel like it's anything. And then when you stick it in the water, it will come alive. So just like that, and zhuzh them on down. And if you feel like any get stuck, you can just kind of massage them down. Just as long as they are past your pin line. I can feel them all sitting down in here. And you don't necessarily need to fill it to the fattest max right up to this line so it looks like a sausage. You may want something, in fact, a little bit more like this, where it's filled, half to 3/4 of the way, but there is a little bit of slack in there, as you can see. So we're going to put half a tablespoon of these little ones in there, and that will do us. And you want to make sure you seal these back up, especially if you're playing with the kids. They will run away very quickly. Grow legs and walk. And again, here, just like a little funnel, as you can see. Very, very simple little jerry rig right down in there. A little flicker. Especially since all my rig is wet. And just make sure that there's not any sitting around in here, or else when they blow up, they'll just fall out and will not be of use to you. So I think everything's past the waypoint here. So I am gonna go sew this up, and then what I'm gonna do is stick it in a bowl of water and let it, I can actually, from the wetness, there's one that's already starting to blow up in there. I don't know if you can see that. I can feel it pushing. I'm gonna sew this across and then stick it in my sink or in a bowl of water and let it blow up, and then I'm gonna show you what it looks like all blown up. We are done. Here we all are with our wonderful, wonderful, fully blown up, as you can see, our wonderful neck cooler. Now, I've got this on a little tight. I just wanted to show you here. Tie on, very easy. And you can see how chunky that looks. And that's only a couple of hours in the water. So you can set these in the water overnight. Particularly, if you're going fishing the next day, or if you're putting in a big day gardening again, anything, going going hiking, going camping, going biking, anything. These are absolutely wonderful. And when you're wearing them, if they start to get outdoor temperature, if they start getting, ambient temperature, all you have to do really is twist it. Just twist it around so that the side that was on the outside is now facing your neck. Oh, primo, super primo. These things are absolute lifesavers. I remember I gave them away one year for Christmas as presents, and everyone was wearing theirs the next summer, you better believe. So fabulous, super fabulous. Another quick tip is that right before you leave, or like you said, if you're going fishing or camping or something like that and you have an ice cooler, you can put these, once they're all, you blow them up in the water overnight, but you throw them in the ice cooler before you leave, before you head out, and then they will literally be ice cold around your neck. Oh, so nice. So nice, especially when it gets hot, nasty, and humid. These things are gonna save lives. So thank you so much for hanging out. Please post pictures of your projects. I can't wait to see them, and I can't wait to hear about giving them away for Mother's Day. If any of you actually give them away for Mother's Day or use them as presents, I would love to hear about it because I know how much people love these. So thanks for hanging out. So glad you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next time. This is Daniela of ReDesignYourLifeForever.com, hanging out in the garden, showing you how to change your life one project at a time.